Have you ever stopped to ask yourself, how did I get here? As chefs, I've found that we're so focused on the next service, the next menu, the next challenge, that we are rarely presented with a moment to reflect. It becomes increasingly important to make and take a moment to reflect on the journey that brought you to where you are today. In this video, I want to share with you the process that I use for reflection and some of the lessons that I've learned along the way. Most importantly, though, the mistakes that shaped me and the routines that helped me grow, not just as a chef, but as a leader. Stay till the end of this video to learn my exact process for reflection and a couple of the tactical exercises that I love to practice just because it's about the end of the year when I'm recording this. I implement these exact practices with all of my clients, either through coaching or my program Beyond the Food. Because with clear frameworks for incorporating routines and practices like reflection into your life, you develop actionable practices and then subdue the overwhelm and complex frustrations that often come with managing our high-pressure kitchen operations. By making reflection a core practice, I easily was able to focus on what mattered the most and was able to become far more effective in my role as an executive. If you're searching for a way to bring clarity and structure to your operations, develop and incorporate systems that immediately improve your workflow and create space for consistent growth and creativity, I'm here to help. This is exactly what I do each day with professional chefs like you, implementing and providing a process to overcome the special challenges that we face in our complex roles. If you're ready to materialize all that you've been trying to, then let's talk, and I'll show you what can happen. Schedule a call by using the link or comment "schedule a call" below the video and I'll connect with you. And then together, we'll implement the tools and practices that allow you to reflect, grow, and lead with structure. It's easy to overlook reflection on the journey due to the constant need of us in our daily operations, the daily challenges that pull us away. And it becomes super important to reflect on growth because it's essential for transcending the ceiling and climbing that ladder to being a phenomenal leader. In 2018, I started pursuing my John Maxwell coaching certificate because I had read a couple of his leadership books and had loved the way that he communicated his philosophies and his frameworks for developing as a leader. Now, I was a chef and I noticed that there were some holes in my ability to communicate and to get the team working in the right direction. And I wanted to fix that, right? So I started investing in the leadership training and in his coaching training so that I could more effectively communicate and coach the people that were around me, my cooks, my stewards, and my sous chefs. And through the books that I've read, of which there are many, I very much came to love the step-by-step approach to leadership development. And one of the books that you read early on, The 15 Irrefutable Laws of Growth. And one specifically that I want to hone in on is one called The Law of Reflection. Now, for John Maxwell, he thinks of reflection as an opportunity to turn experience into insight. Or the way he puts it is to pause so that growth has a moment to catch up with you. And I really love the way that he puts that. Now, I recognize back in my career that there were times when I had time after completing a great task where I was able to ponder and think and learn from what I had done, but I never really created a system from it. It was never really a formal thing. Once reading this, I was presented with a very simple process to be able to dive into what I had just done and take the most of it moving forward. Now, at the time of this recording, it's November, right? We're approaching the end of the year. And before the holidays kick off, I want to take an opportunity to kind of think about all of those things that made this year great, that made this year not so great, and figure out what I want to do to end this chapter so I can start the next one most effectively. Let's talk about that process. Now, there's 4 pretty high-level steps, and we're going to keep this pretty simple because I want to be able to make it poignant and useful. Now, the first step of this process is to pause with intention. Now, think about a pause. It's the taking of a moment And what I want you to do is I want you to take that moment and I want you to ask yourself some specific questions. Most specifically, what's working? What's not working? What do you need to start doing? And what do you need to stop doing? These are 4 questions that any of my clients would tell you I ask very frequently. So frequently, in fact, that anytime they're done completing something, they automatically start to ask those questions themselves. And that to me is a great sign because they're useful. The whole point is to come away with useful reflection in order to adjust and to reiterate in order to move forward. That's the first piece. Pause with intention. Literally stop and then intentionally ask 4 questions. The second step is to document. Ask those 4 questions, write down your answers. Whether it's the end of the year, the end of the quarter, after an event, the end of the month, the end of the week, ask yourself those 4 questions and you're going to find yourself much better prepared to be able to reiterate, improve the following chapter. Now, as leaders in the industry, I think it's really important to be able to guide our own growth. And I think among those top skills that leaders have to develop is the ability to self-reflect, be able to look within, look at insights, and then do more of what works and less of what doesn't. In fact, I would say that's probably the easiest shortcut to being successful. Do more of what works, do less of what doesn't. And the easiest way to find those things that work and those things that don't is to look back on past success and past failures. So inevitably, after you look back and you ask those questions and you've documented those things down, it's important to prioritize. I think it's most important to stop doing things first so you can make space for something new to start. And then, like I said, quite simply, make and schedule an opportunity, which is part 3. Schedule the opportunity to incorporate the new things. Schedule an opportunity for your next reflection and start building the habit of doing this time and time again so that you can continually create this cycle of improvement. If you do it once a year, then at least once a year you can write your course. If you do it quarterly, at least it's 4 times a year where you can look at what you're doing, look at what you need to be doing, and you can measure yourself against where you're going. It's a month, and 12 times a year you can adjust your course and adjust accordingly. If you do it once a week, 52 times, I think you get my point from here. Maybe even if you do it quarterly. It allows you an opportunity to continuously improve by doing less things poorly and more things better. This same process works for after action reviews post-event. I love doing these exercises with the team because it gives us a chance to sit down and talk as a group about the things that we're doing well and the things that we're not. You can very easily apply this in your operation almost immediately by sitting down with your sous chefs and having that conversation and asking them what works well in the operation and what doesn't work well. Very quickly you get a list and you get an image of what's going to work and what's not. The first time might suck if you don't do this very often, but the more regularly you do this, the more comfortable people are, your team will be in trusting that this information isn't going to be used against them. You're going to take this information and improve the way things are working. And then the 4th piece is the moving forward piece. Looking back is very useful, but there's no sense in dwelling in the past. So the 4th step is making sure that when you're moving forward, you're taking your reflection and you're applying it appropriately. And in order to do that, you need to take the list of things that you need to start and you need to turn them into goals, in what I like to consider SMART goals. Back to that idea of SMART: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Then treat each new period of time, ideally a quarter, as a slice of the greater whole to be able to implement those goals. Gives you an opportunity to design the life that you want moving forward as opposed to constantly reacting to the world that's around you. It's a really nice way to switch from what happened this year to what's going to happen next year. And it's a great time to do it because in the new year, everybody always wants to start fresh. I think you can start fresh every single day, but there's something about the magic of January that makes people want to come armed the right way. Let me know in the comments below, what's one lesson or highlight from this past year that you'll carry forward into the next? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the reflections. So now, two of my favorite exercises when it comes to reflection and when it comes to looking back at things that worked really, really well and tying together the professional aspect that we live in and the personal life that we live, I like to talk about the reflection album. This is a practice I learned about from Tony Robbins when he was talking about it in Life Mastery. And he likes to talk about reflection because, again, it's a relevant thing to look back and see what worked and what didn't. But also to look at the memories you want to take with you forward into the future. And so the process, as he describes it, which I think is great, is to look back through your photo albums. And if you carry your phone around on you like I do everywhere and you snap pictures, this is easy to do. Go through your phone month by month and favorite memories, favorite dishes, make a list of those favorites and recognize some of those best things that you want to remember moving forward and create an album. It's very easy to create a January album, a February album, a March album, and then you can take your time and you can pull those together into a 22 album, a 23 album, a 24, a 25 album. It doesn't matter. Then you've got your annual album all squared away your favorite memories. And then taking it even a step further, share that with your spouse, share that with your husband, with your wife. Go through those memories together and remember those times together because, well, great times aren't always available to have. And it's important to be able to have those memories. There's also an opportunity there to look at some of the things that could have gone better. Laugh about things that were terrible. From an operational standpoint, it's a great opportunity to look at your best dishes. It's a good opportunity to look at your most significant challenges and the biggest things that you need to fix. So that's the reflection album, and I like that because I'm a visual person. And the next exercise that I think is fantastic comes from a program called the Reflection Ritual. And you should be able to Google it, and it'll take you to a web page. And I don't know if you can order the book anymore, but I was gifted it one year, and I thought it was an awesome process. It took me about 3 days to get through it, and it's a whole pamphlet with a whole reflection ritual. But one of the pieces of the reflection ritual is called the awards show. It's looking at the greatest hits of the year and really honing in on the award for the best meal of the year, the award for the best date of the year, the award for the best movie of the year. Pick a dozen. Find some things that you really want to give an award to in your life and just document them, because I think it's a cool way to look at what happened and to carry that forward so that it's something that you always have to remember. To me, reflection is a part of everything that I do now, and it's a really key component of the program that I work through with my coaching clients and in my coursework. Reflection rounds out all of the other work that comes about, because right after reflection becomes an opportunity to repeat and reiterate. Everything that we do in life is a reiteration. If you're constantly starting over, then I don't believe that anything I do gets any better. But if I create something and I take the time to look at it and recognize what's working and what isn't, then I can improve upon it. And I look at every single new quarter as an opportunity to do the next quarter better. The end of the year is no different. It's a phenomenal time to look at what worked and what didn't. Very often we get sucked into the work aspect of it and looking at the end of the year inventories and all the things that need to get done. But it's a phenomenal opportunity to close out the year and start the next year afresh. So I encourage you to start a reflection ritual so that your next chapter can be started properly. Reflection isn't just about looking back. It's about moving forward with purpose and clarity. As a young chef, I remember how easy it was to get caught up in the daily grind. But taking the time to pause, reflect, and refine is a really simple yet effective way to acknowledge and assess everything that we do. By incorporating reflection routines into your regular practice, you create a powerful feedback loop that helps you grow and keeps your results tied to your intentions. Remember, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Every step forward, every small improvement builds on the last. And as you close one chapter, it's the most effective way to prepare and start the next with the best practices that you've learned. If you want to dig deeper into a routine of reflection, or any of the other key routines that set a professional chef up for success in their role, then let's talk, because it's exactly what I do. Comment below the video, schedule a call, or click the link, and let's talk. See, reflection is a cornerstone of the coaching that I provide, helping chefs and leaders like you identify what's working, what's not, and how to take actionable steps toward your vision. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Please like, share, and subscribe for more, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.